Hi, I'm Chris Connor with Franchise Marketing Systems. Today we're here with the You Fill We Haul Franchise Group. We have Dr. Pat McNeil, who is the Franchise Director for the brand, and Mr. Jeff Lewis, who is the CEO of the company. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the history and the origins of the company, and then we're going to get into a little bit about what the franchise model is about, how the franchise is structured, and how this business works. So, Jeff, it might be best coming from you, but could you tell us where the business started, where the origins of the brand came from, and give us kind of the story of how we built this and grew it to this point?
Okay. So in April of 24, I had left the restoration business after being in that business for about 15 years and took some time off and was deciding if I was going to get back into which kind of work I was going to get back into. I have owned franchises in the past, so I decided I was going to first look into what franchises was available, but then was kind of coached into not going into a franchise that wasn't garbage related, but go into the dumpster rental business. So I have a friend who is my mentor, and he talked me into opening up a dumpster rental company and said it was just very lucrative. So we kind of looked into it and just said, okay, let's do it. So I knew I needed some help. I couldn't do it myself. So I brought in my business partner, Kyle Britt, that he had been working for me for the last 8 years as a manager. And I knew I could trust him. So I gave him stake in the company and said, let's make this happen. Originally, our customer base was pretty easy for us to find because we were in the restoration business. We knew how to talk that talk. We knew how many dumpsters they needed and the pricing and how to make that happen. So we were very blessed that immediately we had work. Now, it wasn't near as what we do now, but it was two a day. Then it turned into three a day. And that kept growing and growing. Then we realized we needed to make our net wider. So we started going after construction companies. And then we really got our Google going. We were very strong in the Google business, in the restoration business. So we just took that same concept of the Google, the AdWords and the organic, and just kept running with it, growing it and growing it, knowing that we had to get it out there to grow on itself. Well, that we realized about 6 months into it, we were doing really well. So we started with 8 cans and 6 trailers. We bought another truck and we bought 20 more cans. Not even 6 months into it. 2 months later, we had another truck and 20 more cans. We were growing very rapid. Then we hit the 1 year mark. And we're like, well, we survived and we're very lucrative. That's when we decided, how can we make this even bigger? And that's when the bell clicked of, let's go down the franchising. We have a product that we feel that we could franchise.
That's
Yeah, and
great.
that's kind of where I came in, and
Yeah.
like I'm happy to say that it started on the beach, and it's a company that, having worked with you, Chris, and done work with other companies, it was exciting because it was a real opportunity. I mean, I saw the what Jeff had created in the labeling of the cans and the promotion and the way that the professionalism just carried over and the referrals that were coming in. I mean, it wasn't a large trash company that's one of the only people in the phone book or online. It was people that were calling, reaching out to him that had personal relationships, and it was growing. That was what was pretty awesome because I was seeing the emergence of a system that was applied to the trash business, the dumpster rental, that should be franchised because it was doing it so much better than every other beat up can that's on the street or every other guy that's working on a weekend running a couple of cans here and there. And it was something that they did to get some freedom and space from their own 15 years of being in the trenches with all the people and insurance companies, that they were doing something that they wanted to do on their own, that they were taking responsibility, and it really is just taken off. So it was exciting to kind of be there when it was just, hey, I'm just going to run a couple of trailers, to now we have 20 cans, we have 100 cans. And it's like, now is the time to start to bring in, because the territory demand is growing all the time. I mean, being in Charlotte, you can only drive so many miles before it starts to be this is another territory. The buildup in one market is leading to others. And that just fit everything that you taught me about franchising into what they have available and what they are able to help others get started and have their own independent business. That's the beauty of it.
That's awesome, and I love this business. There's not that many business models where in the franchise model, the franchisee has the opportunity to scale as much as they do in this business. They can keep adding capacity and inventory and expanding from there. Um, you mentioned something though, Jeff, in your introduction, and I think this just happens. I mean, the market, there's so much demand for it, there's so much need, but it is competitive. How do we stand out in the market? What have you done to differentiate? What is our approach to the market to compete against other brands in this space?
I would have to say the biggest thing is communication. If you look at our 170 Google reviews that are legit that we got in the last 2 years, it is every one of them says communication. We over communicate. So these customers aren't used to that. They know everywhere from our software being automated, they know that the order went through, they know when we're going to be there. The driver tells them the note and it's all the way through it. So we get a lot of that of it's a very easy, smooth way to do business. So we have a great user-friendly website. So it's everywhere from the website to the people. Our most important thing is our people that we have. But then it's the website, it's very user friendly. And then what makes us stand out? We have a couple things. Well, our trucks are extremely clean. Our cans are Ferrari red for they stand out. They're not junk like there's a lot of them out there. And then we have a patent pending product that we put underneath every dumpster. So we have products that we offer that no other company has. So we property protect every dump. Our dumpsters don't touch anybody's driveways. That has really started. So the commercial guys, they pick us because we at least have products like that. And our service. We don't say that we guarantee same day, but we'll do everything to have it. So it's the customer first. So it happened today. And that's why our days get so screwed up is we got about 6 orders we squeezed in today extra just because they forget to order. So it's being flexible, knowing how to route things. So it's our software system has a lot to do with it. And then we have people that know how to manage that system.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, if I can add to that, I mean, the reason that this is such a franchisable concept is because of the internal systems that Kyle and Jeff have built, not only on how easy it is for a driver to get up in his home, get into his truck, turn on the phone, and it routes him to his first can, tells him where to drop it off, and then as orders come in, it continues to keep updating. So the software that runs the business is amazing. And then we have the back office that Kyle and Jeff help them with their business establishment. And then you look at everything else that's set up to launch it that gets the discounts on the truck and the cans and make sure that they have all the steps that a business owner needs, and they have the connections.
It's great. Yeah, and it definitely sounds like it's creating a professional, service-oriented business model wrapping around an industry segment that I think is not necessarily known for that in most cases. So absolutely could see how that could be huge differentiators. Um, you touched a bit on this in the introduction as well, but I think anyone who's looking at this as a potential investment, one of their biggest concerns is how do I get new customers? What does that business development process look like? Could you go into a little bit more detail there? You mentioned Google AdWords and referral model, but speak to that. How do we get customers and what's the way that we will be able to duplicate that with new franchisees?
Okay, and that's a vague big. There's multiple ways to get customers. So one thing we bring is corporate accounts. We are connected with the biggest restoration companies across the country. So we have corporate accounts. They're just waiting for more locations. So that is something we offer. We have the training and the ability to teach our franchises how to go get those connections with the restoration companies because we've talked it so much. But that leads into the construction companies. The restoration companies don't have their own employees that do the work. So now you're getting the workers from them. So that it's knowing which customer base to go after on those because those just multiply and get bigger. So we bring that. We also we have a national connection with a Porta-John company. And wherever locations we can put in, they will be there to support us. And we support them and they support us. So we have that we bring in. So every one of our locations is going to have a Porta John company that they're going to work with.
That's great.
So and then it's teaching them, you still have to go get the work. It just doesn't come to you automatically. You got to beat the streets. You have to, but we can tell them which ones to go after, and we can guide them which ones not. You're not going to go after the big guys. You're not going to go against Waste Management. You're not going to go against track builders. That's not we're in the quick turn dumpster rental business. We're in the medium sized cans, and we know our marketplace, we know what our equipment can do, and we know that we want to turn these cans as quick as possible. So we guide them in that direction. And then in the Google, it's just big. We do 25% of our business comes from Google.
Wow.
And that is big. And you pay for it in one way or another, but you just have to determine how much you can handle. Now that's a dial you can turn up and down. If you don't need all the business, turn down the spend. We view Google as a three-headed monster. One is the AdWords. That's how much money does the franchise want to spend to get their name up as high as possible. We don't control that. We can just guide them, because we don't spend their money on that. We make recommendations. Google Organic is just getting things moving. We handle that on our side for all the franchises. We post on the Facebooks. We get all the movement going, making sure that we're posting every Wednesday. That's when Google wants things done, is some sort of post, if it's TikTok, Instagram, or on Google itself, at least adding a picture. We handle that internally, and we handle that built into the franchise fees. And then the organic part of Google is just time. It's just Google wants to see how long you're out there, and you just constantly have a movement. That's the third part of it that intertwines with the other two. So that is the Google part. We don't deal with some of the Yelps and that, but there's other ways to go get business. You just have to. We can promote our company as a whole a lot bigger the bigger we get. So that's why we do it that way.
Well, I love the strategic selling element, and with your background in restoration, I know that that's a huge channel and opportunity. And Dr. Pat, I know you've added structure to that and organization to it too, to really create an outbound selling mechanism, which to me is unique, and that generates revenue in big chunks. It's not like onesie, twosie kind of job. So big opportunity there.
Yeah, and it's a relationship business, and having the ability to start those relationships with the remediations and have that rapport, and then start getting other contractors, it just grows. It just grows, and Google helps. But I mean, hey, if Google went away tomorrow, there's still going to be. You get back to old school tactics, and old school tactics are, developing relationships, stopping on the side, see some renovations going on, building it up. So those are all the coaching points, and not only you have that, and you can spend as much as you want, but it's always better to get free promotion and advertising.
That's great. So,
and the trucks, we get a lot of business off our trucks. We're mobile billboards. We got 75 mobile billboards in Charlotte, and we get a lot of work off of them. So,
love that. So, could you guys talk a little bit to, we have some of our first franchisees that we're working with and working to bring on. Could you talk to who you see as being the ideal candidate here? What would be that kind of avatar of a perfect franchisee? What skill sets, background? Who do we feel like this is a good fit for?
Well, Jeff, I'll take it and turn it over to you. I mean, when we look at the opportunity, that's the greatest enjoying conversations that I have is the independent owner operator. He's making 50, 60,000 a year. He's driving all over the place. He doesn't have any predictability. He wants to have his own thing. And that's one of the candidates, as long as the loanability is there for him. We've got all different opportunities. For instance, some people have other businesses that it's easy to tag on. Like right now, we're working with a company that's been in business for 50 years, and it's easy to put the cans into the estimate for the lumber that they're going to be dropping off.
Hmm.
So there's a way of building in additional divisions, whether it's a remediation company that wants to put it on, or if it's an independent that wants to start up their own business. I mean, ideally, you want to have someone that has some liquid cash to get going, but we do have a great financing option for anyone to be able to get started in the business. But Jeff, I'll let you kind of look at what your ideal is.
I'd say the biggest word he's keyed on is an owner operator. This is a hands-on business. Um, there's if you're you want to just make money on your own, this is you have if you can do it and your wife does the books or something simple as that, a family-run owner-operator business. We promote that we're locally owned and operated, and that's what we want to push is these guys can get as big as they want all by themselves. And then you grow, you add more employees, you do that in your own. So it's definitely someone that I feel that you can have you got to have some liquid cash, but you end up it's a revenue generator very quickly. So ideally, you got someone that's got a little bit of money put away, and maybe they're just looking for a change, but it's not a part-time job. This is our business model is you have to work 5 days a week, and you have to it's long hours, but you get a big return for your money.
It's great. That's great. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for spending some time to talk through the U-Fill WeHaul model and the franchise system and the story behind it. It is an excellent, excellent model, in part because the industry is so great and just the nature of the business. But I also feel like you all have approached this from a perspective that no one else has in this category. Made it a professional, high touch, high consistency service platform. I love the strategic selling side of it, and I think both of you bring a ton of value from a relationship standpoint. Your work experience, your abilities, all of those things will be a huge value to a franchise partner. Any closing thoughts here? And then also, could you provide the best way to get in contact with you to get more information?
Absolutely. As far as contacting us, that's we're going to have to call us directly. I'm not off my cuff there. I'm not answering this question direct on. I think the best way is for they can call my cell phone directly at 504-495-9592. Jeff would have more of the company details and such, but I handle the leads, Chris, and that way I can talk through the situation that the person is, what they're interested in, handle all the questions, and then we tee it up to go through all the steps that are involved, walking them through the financing, walking them through the opportunities. As far as, I don't think I answered your question well enough besides giving you my cell phone. So
No, that's great. I'm going to say it one more time. 504-495-9592. And that's Dr. Pat McNeil. And I think that's great. We want to be able to reach you in any way that any point in any time that people want to have a discussion. So that's fantastic.
the websites are out there too. It's UFill, the letter U, Phil WeHaul, .us. That's the Charlotte location. We also have the UFill WeHaul franchise.com.
We do have links on both of those with all the franchise information and show our locations and the other products that we do have.
Well, thank you both very much, gentlemen, and excited for the future of the company here and where things go from this point on. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.